But I want you to reflect back on your career journey for a moment and share with us, like, what were some of those pivotal moments that you think really helped contribute to your ascent to the C-suite?
Well, I would say probably education is the biggest one. I would say I ran into a situation where everywhere I worked, I would get promoted to like a manager level.
Mm-hmm.
I would, do the things, I put the work in, but I felt like I got kind of stuck there. And so in order to get to like a director or beyond, it was like I had to really do a lot of self-reflection as to like, what am I missing? What can I do about it? Like, how can I, break through this? And I found that the master's degree was the answer. So I was like, you know what, we're just gonna do this. So I ended up doing it a little bit later than maybe other people would, but like mid 30s. But ended up doing that, and it completely changed everything for me. It was like the formal piece of business education that I was lacking. The financial areas, like I had some weaknesses without having that formal education, and it completely filled those gaps. And it just made me such a much stronger candidate for things like that. And now looking back, I'm like, well, obviously, like you needed to do something like that. But when you're in it, it's kind of hard to see, like, is this for sure the right choice? So I would say that definitely changed my life and the career trajectory 100%.
So what was that like, though, being employed full time and then embarking on this journey to go get your MBA? Because I know that probably requires some balance and
Yeah.
time management for sure. So what was it like kind
Yeah.
of going back to school after being in the workforce for a bit and trying to juggle both?
It's a great question. I had a 2-year-old at the time as well. So I do
Oh,
have two
wow.
girls, and COVID kind of saved me because we were work from home at that time. And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, you're up doing the school stuff. You start work at 8, you're done with work at 5, and then you're back to like the school stuff until like 8, 9 o'clock at night. But because I didn't have a commute, like that,
Yeah.
those minutes, that hour a day, like made all the difference between being able to like function and get through it and not. It was really hard. But I would say COVID was like a savior for that. And I'm so thankful that I was able to take that time to be able to do it.
I mean, I feel like sometimes people forget, well, maybe they don't forget because I know that I haven't, but one of my favorite things about, I mean, maybe one of my only favorite things about the pandemic was that there was this real big shift to work from home. And similar
Yeah.
to you, like I had a commute when I was working in Manhattan. So I would do an hour and a half each way to get to the jobs that I would have in the city. And 3 hours a day is real and it's significant. And so I
Yeah.
like thinking back now of how much more productive I am not having spending all that time on the train and on buses and going back and forth and subways. So I can see where that would contribute to like giving you that time back, especially with little ones at home. That's definitely got to
Yeah.
be a challenge.
Yeah. My husband was a big support. I do have to say, for sure, being able to do that. And hindsight, like to look back at it, I'm like, I don't know how I did that, but you know what? Did it and it's done. So
Well,
yeah.
that's awesome. It's always so interesting. It's one of the things that I always reflect back on my own career is, did I miss something by not going to get that? And every time I have these conversations with, all of our guests on this podcast and they have those advanced degrees, I'm like, darn it, maybe I should have went back and got it. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm always so torn. But if you got to where you are
Yeah.
and it helped you, great. And I always try to think, well, I got here. Maybe I don't need it, but I always wonder. So I love that
If
you
you're
went back
happy
and
in
got it.
life, yeah, if you're happy in life, like that's what matters. So, wherever you're at and you're good, then you're good.
I'm grateful for people like you who are producing content that helps fill some of my gaps. So for me, it's like, I'll go to the YouTube University right now to kind of like figure out what
Yeah.
don't I know
Yeah.
and go and
Yeah.
try to build that way. But I love that journey for you. So obviously throughout this journey, we've chatted about this before we started recording, but these journeys don't come without some battle scars, right? And there's, I'm sure, some challenges and obstacles that you had to navigate along the way. So what were some of the things that you were faced with and how did you overcome them?
I would say the biggest challenge I had was getting turned down for any promotions. Like I said, past manager, I would kind of go back to the school thing, I think, again. I just, I would apply for a bunch of things like on the side and just constant like rejections. And there were promotions happening at work. And I was always like, why can't it be me? Like, what am I not doing? Like, I'm doing the hard work. I'm doing the things. Like, what is missing? And so I would get pretty down about that. And, that was really what like fueled that change to be like, you know what, if this is really what you want to do, like for my particular path, I have to do this because my bachelor's degree is in psychology. And, it's great. Like I went to school, I did the thing, but it doesn't like, that didn't help me really too much at work. I mean, it's great to like be able to understand people a little bit,
Right.
but like that doesn't get recognized as much, I guess, unfortunately, as it does to be like, oh, you've taken the finance courses, you've done the things. So I really felt like that was like a major like low point when I just kept getting the rejections. So I would say that's probably like the biggest change.
So it's so interesting to me because I need to understand the conversation. So I'm sure that you were having dialogues with your bosses at the time, and so when new opportunities would open up, what was the feedback that they were sharing with you about why you were being overlooked for these positions?
A lot of times it was experience. Like they were just like straight up like you need to have more of a formal education, or this person has this and you don't. And it's like, oh, and it's kind of disappointing too because it's like I would look into other people's backgrounds and be like, well, they have this job. Like, what did they do? Like, what's their background? And it would be like, oh, they went to U of M and they've got a master's from U of M, and they've worked at all these different jobs. And it was like, dang, like, like that's not, you can't just like do it. You can't just like make that stuff happen. So it's like, I think between the feedback from them on like showing me like, well, this person, did this and maybe you should look into these types of things. And then looking into people's backgrounds, like I use LinkedIn a lot actually to do that and kind of just see like, well, they have this title, they have this job, like what did they have to do? It kind of like helped me more of a guide because when I was younger, I didn't have like mentors in this area. I'm the first in my immediate family here to have a bachelor's degree and to like go through that process. And so like my I just didn't have that in the family. So, and then, especially like women in particular, like, there was no woman in my life who was like on that career path and I could see it and understand like, oh, this is what you do to get there. So it was kind of slow. Like I said, master's, later 30s, but nevertheless, better late than never. But yeah, that's a big part of what I want to mentor now. And I am working with Wayne State University in Detroit to mentor females in particular in business. And the reason for that is I want to be able to help guide them and give them advice and just be like a sounding board. Like, hey, I've got this opportunity for an internship. What do you think? Or what do I need to do in the interview? Or what would help me on my resume? Like those types of things to like really help them along. So that's really what's motivated me to take on that lately.
That's great. Well, for everyone listening, if you've enjoyed this episode, please rate and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, and connect with me on LinkedIn. Until next time, we'll see you soon.